Program. I first want to, everybody here, first of all, is important. Let's just say that, okay? Some a little less than the others. But for the most part, we all are important.
We're all important.
Here today. Most of us all know each other or are familiar with each other. If you don't know someone today, make sure you say hello. If you feel comfortable, give them a hug. But I want to first thank and call up, she didn't know I was going to do this, but Christy Zamani, Executive Director of DayOne. And community comes in many faces, shapes, shades, sizes, people, right? And Christy, come on up, Christy. I know she's trying to be shy. This is important. Christy reached out to me about a week or so ago, right? And decided that as an organization, but more importantly as an individual, that as a community, we needed to celebrate and kick off Black History Month. There have been some changes in events in the city. We won't harp on those changes. We're here to celebrate. There's been a lot of cancellations. We've all been through a lot the last 21 months, both with the pandemic, with social justice issues, police reform, and a myriad of other things. So I wanted to have Christy just welcome you guys here, and then we'll kind of jump right into the program part.
Thank you, James. Yes, James surprised me. I was not planning on doing this, but it's great to be with friends. It's great to see you all. I call you friends. You're my family. We spend more time with each other than we do with our family most of the time. And this past couple years without you, like sitting around the table has been hard. So I needed this. So thank you for showing up for me too. But more than anything, I think our kids need this right now. It's been just really hard. And I think seeing us together, a lot of people always say like, what are you gonna do with this event if you don't have money? But I say, we have relationships, we don't need it. Money just makes it easier. And we have each other. So today's a testament of that. Thank you to James for saying yes in the middle of like not knowing my idea. I'm like, you wanna do this? Okay, let's go. And look at this, a week later, we did not do 20 planning meetings or anything like that, but we had community. It's people saying yes and showing up like you today. So thank you for that. Thank you for indulging us and thank you for coming together.
Thank you, Christy. So what Christy's idea was, this is a conversation. This isn't going to be a monologue today. I didn't come to hear myself, and you certainly didn't come to hear me talk. We want to talk with community members. So last week I had an opportunity to have coffee with the the police department, and it was rather interesting.
Thank you so much.
I had to pay for Mama Coffee.
Now that's wrong.
You know what we got you next time, James.
But no, considering the things that have been happening, like I said, over the last 22 months, and we thought today would be a great day to kick off Black History Month, and we wanted to recognize how many of y'all in here know or have ever heard of Michael Senza. Come on in. Yeah, you're fine. Michael was a two-time Grand Marshal of the Black History Parade, the only person to be a two-time Community Grand Marshal. And so ahead of a documentary that is produced by the Pasadena African American Film Foundation, it chronicles the life, work, and advocacy of Michael. Many of you, like I said, know him. Martin knew him, and others in this room knew him as well. And so I wanted to welcome one of the producers of the film to talk about the film. It will premiere on February 14th, which will be Michael's birthday. It'll be available to view for free for 1 day on the Pasadena Black Pages platform. Then on February 20th at Boston Court, you all are invited for an in-person screening if you'd like to come. Those tickets will sell fast. All of the proceeds for those tickets, as we did with the other films that have been produced, are going to a scholarship fund that will benefit a young person here in the community. So I want to welcome Derrick Dancer up here. Derrick is one of the producers of the film. Derrick also, I guess we just say a student of Michael, right?
Big time.
Big time, okay. So Derrick, who was Michael Senza?
Mike was a man, is the way I would describe him, to a family of boys, to a family without a father. 4 of us would have been of the age, old enough to walk through the back part of a couple of homes as we lived on Summit Street and go over to Marengo and then down a couple of houses to spot the home we call the Center. It's actually Michael Zinzan's home, and he opened it up to the community, especially young boys like me and my brothers, fellas I ran around with in the community. He was a father figure to a degree, actually. I remember him being so loving, but yet intentional, and always willing and able to help wherever he could, with all that he could. Just a very special man, for sure.
Working on the film, tell us a little bit about the film and what people can expect to learn and see in the film.
Right. So yeah, it was a blessing that day. I got the call from Dennis saying, hey, I'm putting together another film. It's going to be in the life of Michael Zinza. And he didn't know that I had this relationship with him as we entered that conversation. And I shared with him, Mike's big in my life, even though he's not here anymore. From the time that I was, again, that 11, 12-year-old boy to the time he passed away, there was this relationship off and on. And, it's one of those things that really has enhanced me in the good times of my life and the not so good times of my life. I can see and hear and imagine in my heart him speaking to me several times, the challenges, especially, as you run into issues of race, poverty, and things like that. He always had it for us. Just an amazing individual, again, for me to experience as part of life.
as a community advocate, who was Michael and what did he mean to the local community?
Yeah, the best I could remember and reason is that he was that light, that spark, an individual who intentionally, on purpose, meant to make a difference with regards to the shortcomings of our community, African American community, especially back then. Again, I knew him in just a couple of dispensations. One who was loving and giving, but then when there was what he perceived, what we perceived as a community wrong done to anybody, black, yellow, green, purple, just happened to be that, the cause that was teed up was African Americans in the community, and the challenges that we faced. And I could watch him from a distance, maybe across the room, and he'd be loving on us, the kids that were, in his home at the time. Somebody come through with an issue, and you can see his countenance change. And he focused that way. It was about going out and, hopefully making right where there was wrong. That's the biggest thing I remember about Michael Senza. He had a heart that was bigger than he was, and the wrong things in life bothered him to the degree that he just never ceased doing something about it.
Thank you, Derrick. Thank you for sharing that with us. As we kind of transition, I'm going to ask Martin Gordon to come up. Yes, you, Martin.
Me? Oh, Lord, I don't know why you want to do that.
So Christy invited various community members, and we kind of wanted to talk about what Black History Month means to them as an individual and how they'll celebrate. And I couldn't think of a more colorful person that both could share with us some history, some of his experiences. But first, I just to kind of carry on what Derrick was saying, your experience with Michael Kappa and his work against police oversight, being one of the first individuals in Pasadena. Share a little bit about that.
Oh, wow. Some of you don't know that I go way, way back. I'm talking about to the beginning. Some of y'all who are young enough to know that there was a little office over there on Marengo. I don't know any of y'all old enough to know that we used to have an office over on Marengo where we did free breakfast for children, the first community free breakfast for children in Pasadena, California. Michael Zinzin, myself, and about 5 other brothers who I won't mention because they might not want to be known right now. But Michael, Billy, and one of the other things we did was that Michael, we were one of the first people to step out and say, we have to monitor our communities and we have to monitor the police. At that time, we didn't have an African American police chief. Oh, we do now. And one of the things, as we still know today, we know about Anthony McLean. I go way back with Leroy Barnes and way before then. As we realized that one of the things we had to do in our community, and that was way back then, is we must police the police. And even today, we are learning new ways to police the police. We used to go on the street police the police. We used to look crazy, I admit it. How we made it so far doing that, I don't know. But we have new ways and new ideas about how to monitor and hold the police accountable. But let me get back to Michael for a minute because I want to say something quickly because I don't want to take all day. I want to talk about Michael himself. When Michael died, I spoke at his funeral. I sat back and I said, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that because I was truly hurt when he died. And I said, what would Michael want me to say? And I don't want to go through the whole thing, but there's a video of his funeral, which seemed like thousands of people to me. But one of the things that I said that I believed and I cared about the most was that Michael loved Pasadena. He loved Pasadena. He loved the people of Pasadena. And I remember when it wasn't city council then, but he wanted to run for districts, whatever they called it back, board of directors. And he said, "Oh, Martin, I'm gonna tell you, man, I'm gonna run for the board of directors." I said, "Listen, brother, I know this is the right thing to do, and I know you want to do that." I said, "But sometimes you have to change with the times, and you have to become a chameleon in order to make that happen." He said, "I'm Michael Senza, and I'm going to do it my way." I said, "Okay, Michael, I know politics, you can't always do that." But he loved Pasadena. And the thing that hurt him the most, not just that election, but he didn't feel like Pasadena loved him back. And I'm talking about not just the black community, the brown community, but the whole community. And I remember on a number of occasions, Michael came to me and said, "You know what? Some of y'all are probably old enough to remember the Blackmail Forum. You guys remember the Blackmail Forum?" He came to me and said, "Martin, guess what we talking about the Blackmail Forum? Police accountability, civilian oversight in the police department." So he said, "Martin, I'm going to be speaking at the Blackmail Forum. I want to tell you something. I want you to come." "No, I'm not coming." I said, "I'm going to come when there's an action item." I said, and if I'm not going to add nothing to the conversation, there's no sense in me coming." "No, please come, please come." So we talked about the civilian oversight, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and we got done. They said, "Okay, Michael, now you go do it." Michael said, this is our problem." I said, "I understand, Michael." He said, "We can only do so much. We have to have action from those around us." And they wanted Michael to stop whatever he was doing and lead that. We don't need that now. We have Black Lives Matter. We have people in this community, young people in this community that can pick up the mantle and go. And I hear some of you say, "Uh-oh, is that old school Negro?" I heard it. I heard you say it behind my back. Don't think I did. And a lot of you talk about the old school guy. We don't need to lead. That's not our job. We were there in the 60s. See the picture there? That's when I was young. That's when I used to run out and do that stuff. We don't need to lead. We need to make sure that you look at your history and understand the mistakes we made and talk to us about that so you don't make those mistakes. And for us old hats, we've got to understand that the world has changed. It has changed, and that young people have a better idea how to move us forward than you do, brother, than you do. You have to help shape that. You have to lead from behind. What's going on? And help them not make the same mistakes, not stop them from moving forward like they should be. That's what Michael would say today. He would say, "Martin, I can tell you this now. There might be a lot of stuff going on, but young people are starting to step up." One last thing he would say, and I would say too, we must understand that we have lots of different leaders and different kinds of leaders, especially in the African American community. We are harder on African American leaders than we are blatantly on white folks. You have got to get down and realize that we are not perfect, and if we make a mistake, tell us, pick us up, and let's move forward. We are not perfect. Martin Luther King wasn't perfect. I remember it from a little boy. So do remember that we must come together, that we will make mistakes. Failure is the key to success. You ask the Black Panther Party, they'll tell you. Failure is the key to success and around the country. Failure is the key. So if you fail, pick your black self up and get it there and go again. I've had enough. I didn't even know I was going to have to do that.
I can't tell you everything.
I might not come.
Now, Martin cussed me out before he came, so he wouldn't cuss here. But for those of you who watched Michael's television show, A Message to the Grassroots, he would close out every show with forward, ever, backwards, never. And that is something that, as a community, we have to continue pressing on. So, Martin, thank you for sharing. Patrice, Marshall, come on up, please. I got so much respect for this sister right here and just the work that she does and everything she represents in our community. How do you plan on celebrating Black History? And then why is it important to you?
Good morning. I feel like I'm somebody that celebrates Black History Month every day. It's in all that I do, why I serve, what I believe, and in who I am as a person. So while we commemorate the month and the month has value, I live being a Black woman every day of my life. So it shows up in all the places where I am and all the things that I do.
And I'm sorry, tell the people who you are. And I don't think everyone knows. I assume everybody knows.
My name is Patrice Marshall McKenzie. I am a 3 months short of being a native of Pasadena, but educator and community advocate. Proud to call Pasadena home. Proud to have been reared through PUSD schools, K through 12, Go Mustangs, and really, really honored to still have this in my home today.
I think it might be a little Mustang happy in there today. My goodness. What's your hope for the community, Chris?
My hope for our community is that we really build toward having 3 things be available for everybody, and that is stability, safety, and service. Stability for me is taking care of the basics we all need to have. Access to good housing, good jobs, good public education, and things like that. Service, I think that we need to make sure that our government represents the people that it serves well and delivers in a way that honors us and provides us with dignity. And then in terms of safety, I want all of us to feel as though wherever we are going, wherever we are doing, that we feel safe in our communities, in our homes, in our neighborhoods, and that the law enforcement officers really center a do no harm model of service delivery and how they care for our community, serve our community, and really handle us with care and dignity. So those are things that I'm working for. Those are things that I think that everybody should have. And I think that we can all work together to have that sort of transformational experience in our neighborhood and our communities, working to build first stability, safety, and service.
Thank you. I realized something, even as we're standing here. I didn't intend to spend a lot of time talking about our ancestors because our future is right now. And so these people, with the exception of Brother Dancer and Mark, I realize I'm older than all of them, right? So we are today, we are tomorrow, and we want to celebrate where we are right now. We honor our ancestors and those who have made great sacrifices. I don't want to start naming names, but I gotta thank Mr. Yarbrough back there in the corner. Dale, wave your hand, sir. It's a totemic figure here in our city, rich with history. If you don't know him, get to know him. I want to bring up next William Sims. What year did you graduate from PHS?
Why you trying to go there, dog?
Don't hurt it.
Soon to be, or has it been confirmed? Doctor? Okay, soon to be doctor. William Sims. Give a quick background, why you're here, why it's important to you.
So I am a lifelong resident of Pasadena. I think it's important to be engaged, specifically just to create accountability. I'm a product of Pasadena schools. I have been both educated and employed at Pasadena City College, and have continued to be blessed by the city. And so part of my engagement is one, I think it's a give back, but also specifically to create more accountability and opportunity. So I look forward to that. I look forward to continuing to build a community that's engaged and raising my voice to support issues and people who are focused on building a better Pasadena.
Who from Pasadena influenced you the most? Black Pasadena, brother.
Why you keep trying to dog him, dog?
I mean, I think it's a community as a whole, right? I look around the room even today and see so many faces of people who have instilled something in my life or sown into me in some way, you know, from my parents to churches. I don't know if they're confirmed worders here, if there are people from confirmed word, right? So I'm a confirmed word baby. I'm a Mother's Club baby or Families Forward now. And so I think it's people like Cheryl, people like Roy, who used to coordinate the Kwanzaa event at Robinson Center, certainly the Horace Wormleys and Rodney D from Pasadena PD, right? First accident I got in, I rear-ended Rodney D. Wallace a week after getting my driver's license, right? But I remember being terrified. And I remember him getting out the car. They were probably coming from church going to get food. And I remember him just being so gentle, right? And he looked at me and saw a young Black man in his community. And so I think it's those experiences that I take with me that forced me to live the life that I live, because I want young Black men, I want young Black women, young Black people who encounter me to feel safe and also know that even in their mistake or when they're wrong, I'll be there to help coach them through. So, or Mr. Yarbrough, who made us start a recharter the NAACP chapter and really sent my life into the stratosphere. Or, you know, Akila Gibbs, who runs the senior center, and just watching so many people be committed to it. So I think I'm a product of Black Pasadena as a whole. And so I hope to add another chapter to that legacy.
Thank you, brother. Next up, and we only have a couple more people. We'll close out with Brother LaWayne Williams, who's going to let us know what's happening here in the city. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. It says it right here, LaWayne. Oh, okay. I didn't get the memo. You sure you don't want?
He's a Mustang too, though.
Ooh, what's up with this?
Politics are important, right? Being politically active, and we're fortunate to have with us the former city council member of the first district, the Honorable Jackie Robinson Beasley. Jackie, you want to come share something real quick? And why is politics important? Black politics important? Don't get yourself in trouble.
Good morning, everyone. So first, let me say it is wonderful to see everybody in person, hug on you, love on you. And I have missed that the last 2 years or so. COVID has been, like everyone, COVID has been difficult on me, my family. And there's not many things that get me out of the house these days, very limited, but this was one that I had to say yes to. And I originally wasn't planning to come because, again, COVID. My daughter is in Jackson right now, and we had an exposure, but thankfully everything was okay. And I just want to thank the community, Christy, James, and everyone involved for having this event, because I was disappointed as well when I heard the Black History Parade was going to be canceled, and hopefully in the spirit of continuing to honor Black history, not just in February, but year round, hopefully it can be rescheduled in the fall, as I heard Councilmember Madison suggested. But I think in Pasadena, us being involved in politics is crucial to our well-being and our existence here in the city. Back in 2007, when I was first elected, I think we were about 9% of the population in Pasadena. With the census that just came out, I think we're around 6% now. And I know that's slowly going down, but we have to continue to be involved to show and demonstrate that we're still here, that we're going to continue to be here, that we still matter. Myself and my husband, We're in Pasadena, I'm in Altadena temporarily right now, but we're in the housing market with the rest of the world. And it's really disappointing that families like us and other families, my colleagues and counterparts that have been born and raised in Pasadena, even with, a 2-person household, can't afford a lot of what's available in Pasadena right now. And it breaks my heart because it's even like this that I see that, all of us who are products of PUSD, products of Pasadena, products of people like Eddie Newman, the Pasadena Unified School District. I mean, that was really one of the things I think that lifted me up and made me believe that I could run as a 27-year-old in a city such as this. And so I just thank all of you for continuing to be involved. I was pleased to see that Brandon decided to put his hat in the ring to run for Pasadena City Council. And that's not taking anything away from Councilmember Kennedy, who's the currently serving council member. But at some point in time, leadership has to change and we need to know ideas. And that doesn't mean it has to be a criticism of the person who's currently in office. It's an opportunity for all of us to raise our voices and be a part of the future of Pasadena. So I just want to, again, thank everybody for being here today and taking the time, and encourage everyone to continue to stay safe. And I will definitely see all of you guys soon.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for the service. You show the mic? Sure.
Make him come up there. He got to tell us what's going on.
We need to know what's going on, brother. You don't know? Okay. Make sure you check the city's website for a list of Black History events. I know PCC is having a series of events over the month and that you're involved in. Finally, again, standing in that space of politics, Dominic Corey.
Yeah.
Another bulldog.
I'm a bulldog, and I'm gonna let it be known. I don't care how many Mustangs are in the house. This is a dog house.
All right, Dominic, introduce yourself to the people.
You turned your bulldog hat in for a chaperone hat.
And, one of my former students, Lev Nicole. My name is Dominic Corey. I currently work for California State Senator Anthony Portantino. I am a bulldog, a product of PUSD schools. I was one of the young men around here destroying our community. I got tired of going to jail and I decided to turn my life around. I was blessed to work at Learning Works Charter School and work with some at-risk youth kids for 10 years. And then I got the opportunity to go represent Pasadena in the state level and learn the political game, learn politics. There's not a lot of people like myself in there. There's not a lot of young Black men that's in there. There's not a lot of ex-felons that are in there. There's not a lot of people, that look like me, act like me, listen to the same music like me, that's politically active. So as many young Black and brown people that I can get active and engaged and civically engaged, that's what I'm gonna do. I don't ever wanna run for office. Brandon, you can have it, but I will help as many people as I can to be politically active.
How you and the family celebrate?
So I have a 15-year-old daughter who goes to PHS, another bulldog. I'm gonna let it be known. We're gonna try to get to as many Black events this month as possible. Whether it's in the city of Pasadena, whether it's virtually, whether we have to go to LA. I want her to be proud as a young Black woman of who she is. And so she can see other strong Black women doing their thing in the community. So we're going to the California African American Museum. There's a couple other art galleries. She's into art. We're gonna go, like I said, as many Black events that we can this month. But I want it to be known that Black history is not only in February. Every day that we wake up, every day that we can change the world is Black History Month, because we're doing something positive, we're doing something out in the community. So every day is Black History Month. Every day is Black History Day. And each one of us in this room is gonna be a part of that history for next year that we're going to be talking about. This is the second annual kickoff to Black History Month. When Juneteenth comes, we're going to make sure that's on and popping. Whether we're having a parade or a rally at City Hall, whatever we decide to do as a city.
That's it, bro. Thank you. We will open it up, like if anyone wants to share anything. but I would be remiss because I think sometimes people think that I do not like the police. I just don't like bad police. So I want to be clear about that. And this wasn't supposed to be that kind of event, but I just want to make sure that that is heard. So I'm gonna do something that wasn't on script. I'm gonna call a brother I met last week, and I've tried to avoid, but Jarvis Shelby. And let me tell you something. Last week, I saw a woman asked to get arrested by this brother because she was so enamored by him. Am I lying? But Jarvis, you've been on the department for 5 years and you work in community relations. Right. And you hear it all, right? I'm gonna give you the opportunity. I would have called Cheryl up here if you
can still call her.
No, she ain't here, brother. You hear community relations, brother. How we gonna get there?
How we gonna get there? So we had a conversation last week, and in the middle of during this conversation, my words, and you can attest to this, was we're in a relationship right now. And it's like when you and your spouse are at odds with each other, and no matter what that other spouse does, you know, if you're already set in your ways and you're already upset, it's gonna fall on deaf ears, if that makes sense. And for me, it hurts me when I go out to my own community. I spent a small stint here in Pasadena where I went to an elementary school here. So it hurts me when I go to Robinson Park or Jackie Robinson Center, and I just go out to have a conversation with people, not as a police officer, but not only as a police officer, but as a police officer who comes from the same community. Just to have an insight to see where their head's at, and if there is any information, resources, or anything that I can do to give to them. And people walk away from it. So it's that disconnect that we have. When we put on events and you have all of the community standing in one area and all of the police standing in another, we have to mix that up. We have to open up to each other and engage with each other. I put on an event at Robinson Park back, I want to say October or so last year. And I went to the people, my people that hang out at Robinson Park, and I told them, hey, this is what we're going to do. Tell me what you need. I was told that we needed to bring in resources for people that have records. So I brought that. And Brandon, you know, for a whole week. And I tried to get people to come out there, and no one came. So it's trying to build that community to where we can, back in a lot of the older days, you had LT who knew people by name. Same thing with Sergeant Thompson, knew people by name. Corporal, my LT, knew people by name. So it's getting back to that we need to get back to help build that community.
Thanks, bro.
James, do me a favor, James. Yes. Because he said something that's really important that I forgot about. And
Hold on, Mark.
And let me just give you.
Hold on, bro.
Oh.
We're gonna have a debate here.
No, I just want to give a background of who I am. So
can you hold your thought, Mark?
And I'm doing a disservice for that. So I grew up in South Central LA. I'm from New Orleans originally. I spent a small stint here in Pasadena when I was homeless. So I used to be homeless. My dad was murdered. I grew up around gangs and things of that nature, and I had bad and good experiences with law enforcement. There was a guy, Officer Brian, and I went to Crenshaw High, so I'm a cougar. I don't know about all that bulldog and Mustangs. But there was an officer that used to be on the campus, Officer Brian, and everybody loved and respected him. And that was the thing that changed my life. And to say that, you know, I want to be, we say about policing our own community, this is what it looks like. So when I come out to a car, it hurts me when, I remember when the first person told me that I only pulled them over because they were black. And that stuck to me because I was that person that felt that way, and generally I just pulled the gentleman over, not knowing who was in the car, just to advise him on what was going on with his car. And I had to take a step back and I said, I'm darker than you. What you mean? But that's just a little background of who I am.
Thank you. We'll open it up to if other folks would like to share anything. It's about 10 o'clock. You good, brother? You good? It's about 10 o'clock. We say we would end at 10:30, and we want to make sure we honor everyone's time so that you also have an opportunity to
This is really.
talk with each other.
This is right quick. What we, I'm also Chief Executive Officer of the Pasadena Community Coalition. And I wanted to be sure everyone knows, at the Black History Parade this year, we were going to open the first free expungement clinic in the city of Pasadena, free. Unfortunately, because we don't have the Black History Parade, that won't happen. But I decided that you'll probably see a press release in the next few days. It says that the first Pasadena-based free expungement clinic will open at my offices in the second week of February. So be ready. If you have people who need their records expunged, you'll be able to call me. We'll set up appointments for them, and we'll try to get them that record expunged. Because you understand, once your record is expunged, you can get a job, you can go to school, you can get money for education. This is an important program.
Thank you. And let's make sure we acknowledge, I know he's in there setting up Perry for hosting us this morning. Again, when you talk about Black history, I'm not going to tell it all, but he's given thousands of dollars away to local youth without a foundation or a nonprofit, just out of the goodness of his heart and wanting to serve the community. I don't know any retail establishments that says every dollar you put on the counter today is going to a young person. Yes. Perry. Black history, brother. We got one black sandwich shop in Pasadena. Come on, bro.
Let's say you're gonna feed us today.
You can even do the rest of some tonight. God bless. Thank you.
I don't normally do this, so it's good to see everybody. Thanks for coming out. This is Black History Month is important, as we all know. But I think, as we also know, is that there would be no history if it wasn't for Black History. It should be Human History Month, probably what it should be. But I appreciate seeing everyone. And someone said to me the other day, I thought it was interesting. They quoted Don King, and I know they say there's no Black power without green power. And I said, well, there's no green power without unity. And if we're going to do anything, it has to be together. It can't be just one of us. It can't just be, I'm going to make a difference. I do my part every day. Every day I get up, I try to do my part. I try to be an example. I'm better in actually being an example than actually, being up here speaking. But whatever we're going to do and whatever it's going to look like, what we're up against is, like I tell people, it's the size of that mountain. It's almost, you can't move it, right? But if we have any chance of moving that mountain, we got to do it together, and I can't do it by myself. We can't do it as individuals. But I appreciate all the support, all the love. I appreciate seeing every face here. I appreciate being a part of this. And thank you so much. Until next time. Thank you.
Yes.
Just want to say hello to everyone. I want to, well, first of all, this will always forever be State's house. My name is Ariel Kirkland. I'm so happy to be home. I am a former commissioner for 6 years, thanks to this woman right here. I was the vice chair for 2 years, thanks to this man right here. And want to former Leadership Pasadena alum with Tamika. Oh, where did she go? Oh. So I just want to represent for those of us who have left Pasadena, who have flown the coop, to let you know that all of the work that you have invested in us, though we may not be here, I left, I went to Washington, D.C. I worked in higher education, working with HBCU professors. I do leadership training by career. And now I am in Oakland, another city rich in Black history. I would love that place. This is your home, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. So I'm now in Oakland. I work in tech, and I work in bringing in more Black and brown people into tech. And so, and finding those leaders and those gems and bringing them up into executive leadership. So thank you for everything. Those of us who no longer live here, your legacy still lives in our hearts and in our work as we move forward.
Just quick point of clarification. Bay is very specific. I was born in Oakland, raised in Richmond. To be very specific. Anyone else want to share anything before we kind of just wrap it all up? Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Yeah, Mr. Yarbrough, come on up, sir. Just give the Baptist finger if you got a tip out of here, right?
This being Black History Month, I want to share the exact statement that was made by Stephen Douglas in the Lincoln Douglas debates. And it's word for word, nothing has changed. He stated, and you can look it up, I hold that a Negro is not and never ought to be a citizen of the United States. And when he made that statement, he got a round of applause. I hold that this government was made on the white basis by white men for the benefit of white men and their posterity forever, and should be administered by white men and no other. I do not believe that the Almighty made the Negro capable of self-government. This was done on September 15, 1858. It's an exact statement, and again, you can look it up. This was when he was debating Lincoln. Now, read Lincoln's response 3 days later. This was on September the 18th, 1858. I say then that I am not, nor ever have been in favor of bringing about in any way the social and political equality of white and black races. He got a tremendous applause. And I am not, nor ever have been in favor of making voters or jurors or Negroes, nor of qualifying them to hold office, nor of intermarrying with white people. And I will say in addition to this, there is a physical difference between white and black races, which I believe will forever forbid the two races living together on terms of social or political equality. And inasmuch as they cannot so live, while they do remain together, there must be a position of superior and inferior. And I, as much as any other man, am in favor of having the superior position. And the word that follows that, I think, is important. Having the superior position assigned to the white race. I say upon this occasion, I do not perceive that because a white man is to have the superior position, that the Negro should be denied everything. This was his response to Douglas's accusing him of being sympathetic to the blacks using the Declaration of Independence, which states that all men are created equal. And again, you can look it up. These are the exact words that Douglas and Lincoln used in 1858. Just a little bit of black history.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We're wrapping it up. We're just about done. Shout out to Hood Liberations. Ashley, are you guys planning anything?
Yeah, I think we're gonna do something for the youth. Thank you. So as a Liberation, we are planning something for the youth. We did a Black Voices of Pasadena last year where we highlighted, there's a bunch of phenomenal people here and we feel that not everybody always gets highlighted for their work. So last year we actually hosted a Black Voices of Pasadena and we found that we had a lot of youth there, a lot of youth that wanted mentorship. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're hoping that there's a lot of youth programs, there's a lot of community programs that, a lot of our youth need places to go, but they just don't know where. So our hopes is to have another Voices of Pasadena collaborate with local organizations and just create like the best opportunity for youth, and also maybe like opportunities for upcoming weeks where we can provide healing or goal setting or just different opportunities. And then we also have our Black business listings. So kind of like we mentioned earlier, let's just keep reinvesting in them. Woo, sorry. Let's just keep reinvesting in our communities. We have a bunch of businesses. We have coffee, we have fashion, we have beauty supply, we have a little bit of everything. So not only this month, but for the rest of the year, let's just keep investing in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, folks, thank you for coming. Again, there's coffee. I believe there's some more refreshments. If you haven't met someone new today, then you've not spent your time wisely. So say hello, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you, DayOne. Thank you, Christy.
Yeah. Are these masks free?
I have no idea, sir. I mean,